This is a glass of water. Yeah, I know, it's a crazy idea, but water is pretty great. I mean, we use it for virtually everything, whether it be drinking, bathing, cleaning, and it's always around us. Like, it's literally 70% of the world. Like, what? But water's good for more than just cleaning, drinking, and bathing. It's also a really good way to generate clean energy. This is called hydroelectricity. In a nutshell, hydroelectricity is converting falling water into energy and then into electricity. Woo! Okay, but let's understand how this actually works. So a hydroelectric dam is made up of 4 main parts: the dam itself, the turbine, transmission lines, and a generator. And through the power of these 4 friends, we can convert water into electricity. Kind of like that story where Jesus turned water into wine, but on steroids. But just as a side note before we get into the logistics behind how hydroelectricity works, there are actually 2 types of hydroelectric dams: run-of-river and, well, dams. Run-of-river focuses on the natural flow of water, so it doesn't actually require the dam part. For this video, we're focusing on dam-based hydroelectric systems. So most hydroelectric plants are placed on rivers, and this is because they're pretty steady and they can place dams on them. When the dams are placed on the rivers, this allows for reservoirs to be created, since dams change water level and flow. So when these reservoirs are opened, so these collections of fluid are opened, artificial waterfalls are generated, and we can use that pressure to create energy. The water from above the dam enters the turbine through a pipe called a penstock, which eventually make their way down to a scroll case. The penstock wraps around the turbine like a snail. The scroll case creates consistent water pressure around all sides of the turbine, which prevents damage from intense water weight. Basically, they control how water flows into the turbine. So, scroll cases are also helped by fun little devices called wicket gates. These basically change the opening of like the penstock and the scroll case so that they can control how much water enters through the pipe. Fun, right? Then we have the turbine blades themselves. So these blades spin and generate mechanical energy. Fun! So the only step left in that case is converting that mechanical energy into actual electricity. And this is where the generators come in. The generator is pretty interconnected with the turbine itself, which means that when the turbine spins, the generator also spins. It's connected through a variety of shafts, gears, and this thing called a runner. But Victoria, how do we even get access to this electrical energy that the generator creates? Well, let me tell ya. So this is when transmission lines come in. They can take the energy generated by the generator and transmit it out to homes all around us. In fact, a lot more people than you think are using devices that are powered by hydroelectricity. In 2015, hydroelectricity accounted for 16.6% of the world's total electricity, and 70% of the electricity that comes from renewables. That's crazy. And it doesn't stop there. It's not like it's just at a standstill. The numbers are expected to go up by 3.1% per year. Now, hydroelectricity isn't perfect, but nothing is, and there are some disadvantages that come with it. Hydroelectricity plants can be damaging to fish, such as salmon, who can get confused and think that the hydroelectric stream is safe to go into when it's really not. If a drought occurs, hydroelectricity isn't viable, and building a power plant has a high upfront financial cost, but this is generally negated by the ton of environmental benefits that there are. Hydroelectric efforts are critical to things like irrigation and flood control. In emergency situations, they're automatically connected to generators so that we can power up cities when the traditional sources of energy aren't available. It's sustainable, it's clean, and overall it's a really interesting and super dope resource that we definitely need to be looking more into. But why is having clean energy even important? Well, I'm sure you've heard of the climate change movement because it's a problem that affects us all. Literally millions of people last year marched for the climate. And you see, the traditional sources of fuel that we use, which are non-renewable, still make up 80% of our energy consumption. That's crazy. We have solar energy, we have biofuels, we have all these other innovative energy methods. We still use fossil fuels for 80% of our energy. Like, that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. The thing is, like, fossil fuels aren't even that efficient to begin with. Now, don't get me wrong, they're more efficient than most energy methods and they're cheap. That's why they're used. Like solar panels, if they're single junction, only have an efficiency limit of 33.7%. But fossil fuels have an efficiency limit of around 50%. Hydroelectricity has the highest energy efficiency out of all these methods, with a 90% efficiency rate. Like, that's crazy. Like, no device can be 100% efficient, right? There's no way that it's going to be able to convert 100% of the energy it gets into electricity. It's just not something that happens. But 90%? That's crazy, and it's a natural resource. It's renewable. Like, it's shocking how we're not using it more often. It is a little bit more economically costly than most traditional energy generation methods, but it's clean, it's renewable, it's sustainable, and it's super efficient. If there's a good source of water running, then I don't see why it should be a problem to have more of these hydroelectric dams. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. If there's one key takeaway that I really want, it's that hydroelectricity is just super dope. Like, who doesn't love a good, clean, renewable energy? Am I right? If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe down below, go give the video a like, and if you want to connect with me or talk more about electricity, you can go check out my LinkedIn, which will be linked in the bio. Bye guys!